someone cuts in front of you in line, you feel a flash of anger before you've even thought about it. Your jaw tightens, your eyes narrow. You haven't lost anything. The wait is barely longer, but something in you wants that person to be corrected. That reaction isn't really about the line, it's about something much older, something that predates courts, prisons, and even language itself. To understand why rule breaking makes you feel this way, you have to picture a small group of ancient humans, maybe 30 or 40 people, living together, sharing food, sharing shelter, sharing risk. There was no police force, no formal law, no jail to send someone to. And yet, these groups survived for hundreds of thousands of years, which means they had to solve a very difficult problem. What do you do with someone who takes more than their share, who lies to the group, who cheats, who endangers everyone else for personal gain? The answer wasn't punishment handed down from above. It was punishment handed out by everyone. An anthropologist named Christopher Boehm spent decades studying small-scale societies, from hunter-gatherer bands to remote tribal communities, and found something remarkable. Across radically different cultures with no contact with one another, the same pattern kept appearing. When someone broke the rules, gossiped about unfairly, hoarded resources, or tried to dominate the group, the other members responded collectively, not with violence, usually, with something more subtle and in some ways more powerful. They talked about it. They stared. They excluded the person from conversation, from meals, from the fire. Boehm called this reverse dominance hierarchy. In most social animals, the biggest or strongest individual dominates the group. But in early human societies, something unusual happened. The group dominated the individual. The moment one person tried to seize too much power, take too many resources, or bend the rules for personal advantage, the collective would respond not with a single leader's authority, but with the combined social pressure of everyone else. This is where gossip actually comes from, not as idle chatter, but as a survival mechanism. If you couldn't physically stop a rule breaker, you could talk about them. You could spread the information. You could make sure everyone in the group knew who couldn't be trusted, who took more than their share, who lied about where the food really came from. Reputation became a currency more valuable than any physical resource, because reputation determined who you could rely on when your life depended on it. A psychologist named Robin Dunbar, who studied the size and structure of primate social groups, proposed that language itself may have evolved largely for this exact purpose: to gossip. Not gossip in the trivial sense we use the word today, but gossip as social monitoring, as the mechanism that let early humans track who was cooperative and who wasn't, across a group too large for everyone to personally witness every interaction. Think about what this means. The instinct to talk about people behind their backs, the urge to know what someone did, the satisfaction of hearing that a rule breaker finally got what was coming to them. None of that is a modern character flaw. It's an ancient piece of social machinery that once held entire communities together. But gossip and exclusion were only the first line of defense. If someone kept breaking the rules, kept taking more than their share, kept endangering the group, the consequences escalated: public shaming, mockery, being physically excluded from group activities. And in the most extreme and persistent cases, documented across numerous hunter-gatherer societies studied by anthropologists, the group would resort to complete social exile, or in rare cases, execution, carried out not by a single authority, but by consensus. This might sound brutal by modern standards, but consider the logic behind it. In a small group with no surplus, no safety net, and no way to simply move away and start over, a single person who consistently took more than they gave, who lied, cheated, or endangered others, wasn't just annoying. They were an existential threat to everyone's survival. Letting that behavior continue unchecked could mean starvation for the group's children. Tolerating a bully could mean the collapse of the cooperation that kept everyone alive through lean seasons and dangerous predators. So evolution built something into you, a sharp, immediate emotional response to unfairness. Researchers studying the brain's reaction to perceived injustice have found that witnessing someone break social rules activates regions associated with disgust and moral outrage, the same neural circuitry involved in physical revulsion. Your brain doesn't just disapprove of unfairness, it reacts to it the way it would react to something rotten, something contaminated, something that threatens the group. This is why watching someone cut in line, cheat in a game, or lie to a friend can trigger a reaction that feels disproportionate to the actual harm done. You're not overreacting. You're running ancient software that once had real teeth, because in your ancestors' world, tolerating unfairness wasn't a minor inconvenience. It was how groups groups fell apart. Modern life has replaced most of this system with formal institutions, courts, police, written laws. But the instinct underneath all of it is still exactly the same as it was 100,000 years ago. You still feel the flash of anger. You still want to talk about what happened. You still feel a strange satisfaction when someone finally faces consequences for breaking the rules. That satisfaction isn't cruelty. It's the oldest form of justice your species ever built, still running quietly beneath every modern law you've ever followed. Someone cuts in front of you in line, and for a fraction of a second, you become every ancestor who ever stood in a circle, watching, remembering, and deciding together who could be trusted to belong.